What's up? How you doing? Yo, it's Mr. Daggett. Just sitting here in my room, drinking from the genie. If you had a genie, what 3 wishes would you have? I've thought about this for much of my life. Number 1, well, maybe I forgot. What would you wish for? I know sometimes you think about money. Ooh, I do remember one thing I used to wish for when I was a kid was that I didn't wish for like $1 million or $1 billion or $1 trillion. That's a lot of money. But what I wished for, that whenever I needed money, I could put my hand in my pocket and out would come the exact amount of money I needed. I thought that was a pretty good wish. Let's see, what else did I wish for? Sounds pretty vain, just money. But that'd be pretty cool, huh? And then you could use money to help people and do all sorts of great things in the world. Wait, you can't see me. Oh, there I am. Go Giants. We're in the middle of baseball season, although it isn't really happening because of the coronavirus thing. But right now it is the end of April, which means we are full bore into it. And maybe it's a good thing Giants haven't had a good few years. But they just hired, I think, the first female assistant coach in all of MLB history. So they were looking to do some cool things this year with her. But looks like they're just not able to do anything, which is a bummer. Raise your hand if you're a Dodgers fan. Oh, Mr. Lewis, I see you. Dodgers are all right, I guess. Maybe. I have to say polite things on the video. But go Giants. Anyways, around the world we go. Don't break it. Let's go 2 places. If we can. Well, we landed on the 3 ships of Christopher Columbus, which don't exist there anymore. The Santa Maria, the Nina, and the Pinta. Christopher Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1492, as it was said, again, searching for a new route to India. But my pinky landed in Brazil, which we've already been to before, but it did land in the city of Belém, which I've never been to before. I've never been to Brazil, as I told you before. But there is Belém in Brazil. On the coast, it looks like it's on like a big inlet, which is pretty cool. Belem, and it has in big bold letters. So it must be a pretty big city. You should check out Belém in Brazil, and maybe search a little bit about Christopher Columbus. Okay, are you ready? We're gonna read. Oh, wow! Put my sunglasses on my book. We're going to pick up where we were left off on this book about Igor Stravinsky, written and illustrated by Mike Venezia. Are you ready? Igor Stravinsky grew up in a very musical family. His father was an important opera singer with the St. Petersburg Opera, and his mother was an excellent pianist. Igor and his brothers often went to the opera while they were growing up. They heard their father's beautiful voice as he performed in the major operas of the day. His parents' names were Fyodor and Anna. That's them on the piano. One of Igor's most exciting memories came during an intermission of one of these operas. He saw his greatest musical hero composer, Peter Tchaikovsky. Igor saw Tchaikovsky for only a split second from far across the room, but he never forgot that moment. It was the only time Igor ever saw the great composer. Peter Tchaikovsky died just a few weeks later. You can see him right there. And Tchaikovsky's in the very, very back. Even though Igor Stravinsky came from a musical family, his parents didn't really encourage him to study music. They agreed to let him take piano lessons when he was 9 years old, but they wanted him to become a lawyer someday. See, the reality is oftentimes as a musician, you don't make tons of money, or at least it's not guaranteed. Although as a music teacher, you can make money enough to help raise a family, but if you're just a performing musician, you have to work really hard to make a decent living. So They cared about him and said, if he's a lawyer, he'll make lots of money. Igor loved playing the piano more than anything. He learned quickly and started to make up his own music. After he graduated from high school, Igor entered the University of St. Petersburg to study law, not music. Igor found studying law boring and didn't do very well with his grades. He spent most of his time thinking about music. Things worked out, though, because Igor became friends with a student named Vladimir Rimsky-Korsakov. Vladimir happened to be the son of one of Russia's greatest composers, Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov. There's a picture. Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov belonged to a group of Russian composers who were nicknamed the Mighty Five. Their goal was to create important Russian concert music. They wanted to write music that was inspired by Russian history, Russian legends, and especially Russian folk music. Until then, the concert music heard in Russia was written mostly by composers from other countries like France, Germany, Austria, and Italy. By the way, the names of these Mighty Five were Nikolai Rimsky-Korsakov, Cesar Guy, Alexander Borodin, Mili Balakirev, and Modest Mussorgsky. I probably pronounced all of those wrong, but those are the names. Igor Stravinsky was introduced to Rimsky-Korsakov by his school friend. The great composer advised Igor to keep studying music. Soon after this, Igor's father died. Igor decided to forget about becoming a lawyer and put all his efforts into becoming a serious composer. That's the five men. Rimsky-Korsakov agreed to teach Igor. He worked patiently with his new student, and Igor learned all he could from his great teacher. Igor studied the works of other composers too. One of his favorites was the modern French composer, Claude Debussy, or Debussy. Debussy broke a lot of the music rules that people had followed for a long time. He was able to suggest feelings with his music. He blended fuzzy bits and pieces of different melodies together to give an impression of dreamy images of nature. His music might suggest billow, drifting clouds, a moonlit countryside, or the power and beauty of the ocean. It's kind of the way the French Impressionist artists suggested their images, only they used paint and color instead of the musical sounds. This is a painting by Claude Monet, a Frenchman. Notice how it's the ocean with the cliff, but it doesn't look like it's a picture taken with a camera. It looks more like a dream. When Igor Stravinsky started composing his own music, he often borrowed ideas from Debussy, Rimsky-Korsakov, and Tchaikovsky, and other composers. When Igor was 26 years old, one of his first compositions, Fireworks, was performed in St. Petersburg. It was an important day for Igor, and the audience was a man who enjoyed Igor's music so much that he wanted to hire him as a composer for an exciting new ballet company. Sergei Diaghilev was gathering up the best Russian dancers, choreographers, set and costume designers, and composers he could find. Diaghilev planned to take his ballet company to Paris, France, to show the world how great Russian music and dancing could be. And that is where we will end today. I hope you enjoyed this day, Thursday, April 30th, 2020. And I'd like to say cheers from the genie. Spill a little bit. From my house to yours, have a good day.